Good morning, you guys. I'm going to go over your problems from yesterday. So you were dividing decimals. The notes you took here on the top, you're dividing a decimal by a whole number. So the first one you had was 175 and 8/10 divided by 6. So the number that goes in the bracket is that first number, 175 and 8/10 divided by 6. Okay, so I told you guys what you need to do is just move up your decimal. When you have your decimal when your decimal is a number that you're dividing up, you just move your decimal up. And then you divide like normal. How many times can 6 go into 1 without going over? 0. 0 times 6 is 0. Okay, sliding over, bring down your 7. How many times can 6 go into 17 without going over? 2. 2 times 6 is 12. 17 minus 12 is 5. Now slide over. Bring down your 5. How many times can 6 go into 55 without going over? 9. 9 times 6 is 51. No, 54. 5 minus 4 is 1. You're going to slide over, bring down your 8. How many times can 6 go into 18 without going over? 3. 3 times 6 is 18. So that'd be 0. Remember, with decimals, you will not have a remainder. You only get remainders when you're doing whole numbers. Okay, so that was number 1, 29 and 3/10. Okay, number 2, you had a word problem. It was about people going to a restaurant and they split a bill that was $70.40 by 4 people. So you're going to divide $70.40 divided by 4 people. Remember, you're just going to move your decimal up. How many times can 4 go into 7 without going over? 1 time. 1 times 4 is 4. 7 minus 4 is 3. Slide over and bring down. How many times can 4 go into 30 without going over? 7. 7 times 4 is 28. 30 minus 28 is 2. Slide over and bring it down. How many times can 4 go into 24 without going over? 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 24 minus 24 is 0. Slide over and bring down. How many times can 4 go into 0 without going over? 0. So each person is going to spend $17.60. All right, number 3. It was about a family going on a road trip. They traveled 267 and 9/10 miles, and they used 3 gallons of gas. They have a really good car that has really good gas mileage. So you're dividing up the miles by 3. You're moving your decimal straight up. How many times can 3 go into 2 without going over? 0. 0 times 3 is 0. Bring down your 6. How many times can 3 go into 26 without going over? 6. 6, well, no, not 6. 8, sorry. 8 times 3 is 24. 26 minus 24 is 2. Slide over and bring down. Now you have 27. How many times can 3 go into 27 without going over? 9. 9 times 3 is 27. It's 27 minus 27 is 0. Slide over and bring down. How many times can 3 go into 9 without going over? 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. So for each gallon of gas, they could go 89 3/10 miles. Your next one asked you about dividing decimals. How is it similar to dividing whole numbers? So when you're dividing a decimal, you do the same exact things that you do when you're dividing a whole number. The only difference is you bring that decimal up. So dividing decimals is similar to dividing whole numbers because you do the same things or steps, things that you do when dividing whole numbers. But you bring the decimal straight up in the answer. Okay, so you should have something similar to that. If you need to add to your answer in your notebook, go ahead and do so. All right, so this went over your work that you did yesterday for dividing decimal by a whole number.